And welcome back to Block TV, time for Crypto Globe. Now, after branding itself a blockchain island earlier this year, Malta is determined to live up to its name. With the passing of friendly, and some will say overly friendly, legislation to support both DLT and cryptocurrencies, it's a practical haven for blockchain startups, supported by the local government. Now, according to Silvio Schembri, Malta's junior minister for financial services, digital economy and innovation, the passing of the recent laws makes Malta the first country to offer a holistic regulatory framework for DLT operations. Before we speak with the junior minister himself, let's take a look at the following report by Block TV's Jona Hochhauser about the fantasy blockchain island that is Malta.
Malta, everyone's favorite archipelago in the Mediterranean Sea, consisting of only 500,000 people, is trying to become the center of the blockchain world. As a self-described blockchain island, Malta attracts blockchain businesses thanks to its blockchain-friendly government and clear, all-encompassing blockchain regulations made with input from those who actually work in the blockchain industry. Blockchain, 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 you're starting to get the picture. This all fosters confidence in blockchain companies to operate and innovate with government support and tax incentives that can see companies pay as little as 5%. And all this is starting to pay off for the small island. I mean, their economy is growing 6% over the past 3 years, making it one of the fastest growing economies in the EU and one of the fastest in the world. As one blockchain CEO put it best, I moved my company here because in other countries, they can just decide to shut down your business one day. Here, you know you're welcome.
And as we said, we're joined by the Junior Minister for Finances in Malta, Silvio Schembri. Mr. Schembri, first of all, thank you so much for being with us. Malta 2019, give me the headline of how progressed will it go vis-a-vis blockchain and new businesses related to cryptocurrencies. What do you foresee for it in this year?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me for this, obviously, intervention. But if we look at our economy, we can see that our economy is very much based on the services industry. So in the past years, we managed to overcome certain difficulties when it comes to economic growth and turning our economy from basically a mere 0.5% growth to basically an average of 5 to 6% GDP growth. And effectively now Malta is the country that is experiencing the biggest economic growth in the world. And that is obviously very encouraging for us to continue to look into other innovative areas. So basically we have a very strong tourism sector. We have also the financial service industry, which is very robust and very good, and the e-gaming services. Now we want to look to diversify more our industries. And basically it was a natural step for us to look to other innovative areas, such as, for example, blockchain and cryptocurrencies and other related uses on blockchain. And that is why that we have delved into the current scenario of the blockchain technology and the entities and operators operating on blockchain. And we looked into and tried to answer the question why and what do stakeholders in this industry need to continue to flourish and expand their business. And basically what came very clear was that the industry was crying out loud for sensible regulation. And that is what Malta has provided. In fact, just last year and on the 1st of November, these 3 bills that were enacted in Parliament.
No, entirely, Mr. Schembri. Actually, I want to ask you about this. What is this sensible regulation? Because there are those who would argue that Malta is a haven, is actually a place where blockchain can thrive because it's regulated there in ways that it will never be regulated in other places around the world. So what is that sensible regulation, if you can break that down for me?
Sensible regulation is that you provide certainty, legal certainty, but at the same time not stifling innovation. So when we're speaking about blockchain or companies that are operating in the blockchain sphere, so to speak, because sometimes people get confused with cryptocurrencies and blockchain. We are not looking at blockchain just for cryptocurrencies. That is something that other jurisdictions are doing. In terms of the Maltese holistic approach.
I know, but at the end of the day, and it's very true that you said that, but you're not looking for it for cryptocurrencies, but there are exchanges operating in Malta. I mean, cryptocurrencies businesses.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, okay, and cryptocurrencies.
Yes, but cryptocurrencies are just one very important use that use blockchain.
Right.
But for example, there are much more uses. For example, we were the first country in the world to issue the education certificates on the blockchain. So nowadays, Maltese students who basically pass their exams get their certificates on the blockchain. And therefore, this is an extra benefit for students that they cannot keep on worrying, for example, that come one day they need a particular certificate. And for example, maybe the education institutions would have lost that particular certificate. And that is obviously one particular service. Now we're looking into other uses of technology. For example, when it comes to the registry of companies, when it comes to health records, when it comes to renting services, or if you are going to rent property, or also to buy property when it comes to land registry. These are all services that, as a government, we are implementing on the blockchain. None of these services use cryptocurrencies, but obviously there are other. In fact, we have an ad hoc legislation on the use of virtual currencies. In fact, we have treated this particular use when it comes, for example, to brokers, to wallet providers, to exchanges, ICOs. These are all treated under one specific piece of legislation. But we have not stopped there. We have implemented also two other pieces of legislation. One that has established a new authority, the Malta Digital Innovation Authority, that will deal also with innovative technology arrangements, not only DLT, because we speak about blockchain, but in reality we speak about distributed ledger technology.
Sure.
So basically, the Malta Digital Innovation Authority until now is dealing with DLT, but the remit of this authority is going to expand also to cater for artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, big data, quantum. And these are all new innovative areas that the government is working. And in the coming weeks, also as a government, we'll be announcing our strategy and also schemes and innovative innovation, so to speak, when it comes to catering for these areas as a government.
Can we have a hint of that strategy, as you said? What would be the strategy? They said in a couple of months, your government will be announcing strategy?
I would say in a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks. Okay. And what is that strategy?
On the 1st of November, when these three pieces of legislation were put into place in Malta, we have launched Malta.ai. And that is the initial step of the strategy. It is a consultative document that we have announced, also a task force that is taking us now to the next level. So at the beginning of last year, we have announced that we're going to deal and address the uncertainty that revolves around the blockchain sphere and DLT. We have managed to do that in just a period of 10 months. We have done a lot of consultation, being with regulators, international EU regulations, because we have to keep in mind that Malta is an EU member country, so that will complicate even more the matters when it comes to especially financial regulation, that obviously is supervised also at a European level, but also in terms of a practical level. So we met with a huge number of people operating in this industry to see that what we are proposing is not only good on paper, but also not cumbersome when it comes on the ground.
When it comes on the ground. And Silvio, I have a question for you, because first of all, if you don't mind me asking you a personal question, you are a junior minister, but how old are you? You seem very young.
I'm 33, thank you.
No, lovely, and that's an incredibly young age to be in such a progressed position within the finance department of Malta. It's clearly something that's your passion. Is blockchain your passion also as an individual?
Well, it's not blockchain per se. It's technology, it's financial service and innovation. But I think the greatest passion is to continue to deliver results for Malta, for my country. And this is something that is inherited in our government. Not only myself, I'm young, but if you look also at the Prime Minister, he's one of the youngest Prime Ministers, and I would say one of the most successful Prime Ministers in Europe.
Not that you're biased.
Something that we have inherited, so to speak.
And when it comes to Malta nowadays, blockchain and cryptocurrencies, essentially you're looking to do for it what Malta did for gaming. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, perfectly right. In fact, we have used our experience, our past experience in the past 15 years. That now Malta is officially I would say, the largest operator when it comes to e-gaming services, even in terms of regulator. And this is continuing to, it's growing year on year. We are facing continuous growth, so to speak.
Right.
So what we have done is we have taken the experience that we have managed to regulate or provide a regulatory environment for this technological product, which was quite innovative and quite challenging at that time. But with our experience there, we have managed to do it correctly. And then we have emulated, so to speak, our success story from the gaming industry to the DLT sphere. And now we'll continue to evolving that. As I mentioned before, on the 1st of November, we immediately launched Malta.ai to also give the message, deliver the message that DLT and blockchain is not the start and the end at the same time, but actually is just the start of our journey to provide Malta as a powerhouse of economic innovation. So now we're dealing with AI. In the coming weeks, we'll also launch other innovative strategies. For example, when it comes to esports and video gaming industry,
Right.
we also have other strategies when it comes, for example, to space mining, space exploration, space research, and the area in relation to space, and also other innovative areas, for example, when it comes to IoT and big data.
And essentially, on the cutting edge as Malta wants to be of technology. Minister Chambry, or Silvio Chambry, thank you so much for joining us today from Malta. Interesting to see how and what that so-called friendly regulation is doing for those businesses. That was it for us on Crypto Globe. Do not forget to check BLOCKTV on every social platform you're on, be it Facebook, Twitter, Telegram. Send us your questions. We'll answer them, and we'll be right back.